Some people would shout, get a job, and I used to think, well, I am working. You try standing here for 6 hours and see how hard it can be.
They come in here still, and we are like Last Chance Saloon.
We're a magazine that has a social remit.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much. It's 150. Well, I'm in it this week. As you can see, Elvis on the front cover, and good old me on the inside back. And the relationship split up. She got everything and kicked me out. The council said there's not a lot that they can do for me.
As I say to everybody, we are not here to become part of the problem. We're here to become part of the solution.
Began sleeping rough, and I came in, spoke to Richard, and ended up starting to sell the Big Issue.
I don't think anybody would ever say they want to be a Big Issue vendor. Nobody wants to be homeless and live on the streets.
Someone suggested that I go to the Big Issue. Thought, well, I might as well go down, I haven't got anything to lose, so I went down and signed up.
SCS supports the Big Issue because we share a common ethos in that we're both commercial organisations.
And I think our readers expect that sort of social responsibility from us, because we're not just that average kind of weekly magazine.
I've always bought one every week, always buy one. I think it's a great magazine, very topical.
And it's just a challenge to move people on, to actually move them out of homelessness, not just to get them into accommodation, but to address all the other issues that sometimes go with it as well.
We are still delighted to be a subscriber to the Big Issue.
I found myself being drawn into things I didn't want to go down. So I just went and hit the road. I went down a couple of wrong turnings along the way, and here I am in Cardiff.
We fill it up with amended proofs as they come off the Mac, so I'm going to start doing that now. This is a feature. Of course we keep our eye on the sales figures, and you know, the sales figures are really important to us. I suppose one of the worst things really is that the weather can really affect sales. The short story that we run every summer, which is funded by the Welsh Books Council, and we use Welsh authors, and they're exclusive short stories to the Big Issue. They're very popular. That one up. There's a real alchemy to putting the magazine together, because it's not just about a great cover or just about finding that next new big thing. And last but not least, the cover.
Big Issue's been a good leveller for me. It's been a gift for something to do. I was always a busy person. I was a father of two very small kids, so I was always busy. And suddenly I wasn't busy. I was sitting in a hostel.
I went down and signed up, got told the rules and regulations. There wasn't too many, a lot of it was common sense. Obviously no drugs, no alcohol.
First and foremost, for the vendors, we do offer the chance to earn an income, a legitimate income, which is quite unique.
Pitches are agreed in advance. It's nowhere near as random as it might seem. They all are agreed pitches, so the vendors are spaced nicely around town and you don't end up with a big cluster.
I don't decide who has first choice of what pitch. They do by how they've worked the previous week.
It is a proper job. We're standing out there and we're working, whereas we could be sitting in the house and doing nothing.
I was given a pitch, started selling, and it was interesting. It was interesting. Some people would look down your nose at you. Some people would ask you how you were and actually buy a magazine. Some people would shout, get a job.
The thing that I like about the Big Issue is it, by using the sales as a motivation, it gives people that would otherwise have been distanced from society the opportunity to regain value and a purpose.
This is the the Big List feature, which features a subscriber, a Big Issue subscriber every week. We have corporate subscriptions, so we give them some nice editorial every week.
Big Issue is close to my heart because I used to work for the Body Shop, and I worked for the Body Shop during the time that Gordon and Anita actually promoted the Big Issue. And I think being on the Big List is good promotion, of just great advertising for me.
They start getting motivated by selling the magazine. They perhaps get into hostel accommodation or something like that and keep their hostel accommodation. They might get registered with various support services.
Sellers, they might moan and gripe and things like that, but we all stand together as well. So people would much rather see you smiling. No matter what your troubles are, they really don't want to see you looking like a wet weekend. They'd much rather see you putting a brave face on it.
When your world is in turmoil, to actually have to go out onto a busy street like Queen Street and stand there and face people, I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world to actually do.
I think that the Big Issue actually does provide a real possibility of hope.
A lot of us would be pretty much not where we are now if we didn't have John and Richard to help us what they're doing, like, and selling the Big Issue.
I happened to get into the Homeless World Cup team, and my life has changed. I'm assistant manager now to Kerry when it comes to picking the Homeless World Cup team. I've actually got access to my children now, which I didn't have when I first became homeless. For me, all down to the hostel I was in, the Big Issue played a big part, and the football just topped it off.
I'm now relatively well housed, but that's good. I feel I'm ready. I'm starting to believe that I'm ready now to commit to a full 40-hour week working in a normal working environment.
We recognise the value of getting people working rather than receiving handouts.
A lot of people sort of shy away, but after a while of continuously saying good morning and good afternoon to these people, quite a lot of them are realising that, you know, I'm a normal person. I'm just selling a magazine, which is quite a good magazine.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Okay, thank you.